Greetings and welcome to another excellent World of Tanks video. This video is about how I got the mark of excellence on the BMP-1, which you see here behind Lee. So if you enjoy this video, please leave a like for it. It would help spread the word across YouTube. So let me explain to you how I got the mark of excellence. First, I went insane and I chose to do rocket tanks. So if you want to avoid that, don't go insane and do rocket tanks. Greetings and welcome to another excellent World of Tanks video. This is a video on how I got my mark of excellence on the BMP-1, which you see here in the dark gray behind my commander, Lee. This is a helpful video that will teach you the basic techniques of what you're going to have to do to get a mark of excellence on basically any tank where you choose to do so in general. I have another video coming out about the specifics of the secrets, if you want to call it that, on getting the mark of excellence for this BMP. But this one is about the general things you're going to have to do to get a mark of excellence. So the first thing you're going to have to do is find something that you have already or looking to get, what have you, where a mark of excellence is possible. And now that means it has to be a tier 5 or higher tank. So I chose to do rocket tanks to make videos because that was some of the things I hadn't been doing, because I didn't play rocket tanks because they're hard, pain in the butt. And it takes a lot of different skills that you have to acquire to play them well. Some people are more talented, like the kids we play with, Brownie and Hayden. Those guys are just somehow good. And better than me with rockets, to be honest with you. You know, I'm in their neighborhood somewhat in skill of rockets, but I had to work super hard to get there. And those guys seem to be born with it. I don't know. But they're really, really good. And it's you know, it helps to push you with motivation. So motivation to get your mark of excellence is one thing that helps to a degree, because you're going to have to play a lot of games in whatever tank you're going to play. Okay. And I'm not joking. I'm going to show you a small sliver. Here we are at the profile. And this is a log of the last 10 games I played. As you can see, it's all BMP. Now, you don't have to do it this way. For myself, I was doing well, and I was incrementally increasing my results. So my skills were increasing, I could tell. And the first thing you're going to have to do is play a lot of games. Now, someone who's a natural-born butt kicker like Brownie, I was helping him work on his BMP because he had sent me a message that says, you know, hey, I'm going to go work on a BMP line. I go, I'll be glad to help you. You know, so I went through it, and I primarily was, you know, trying to help speed up his progress through the T-44A, which is the first tank of the line, and the second tank of the line, which is the PT-76. Both of them are, well, not very good. Brownie is an exceptional player, so he made it look easy. In fact, he played the best sequence I've ever seen on the PT-76. He got marks of excellence on there without using any upgrades, because he thought the upgrades were too expensive and they don't really do anything. So that dude went through the whole PT-76, and dude, he got multiple MVPs in a garbage tank with no upgrades. I've never seen anyone do that before. I couldn't do it. Yeah, I mean, I might have a chance of doing it because he came up with a solution to do it. He played it as a sniper tank, and therefore equipped it as such. He didn't want to play the light tank aspect of the tank. I did. I'm a natural light tank player. And it was below, low, very low end average performances, which is okay. It was good enough to advance, what have you. So he discovered the method that I would recommend, man. Play that as a pure sniper. It's not a great one, but it reduces your exposure because it's just got no mobility. And he's a very good sniper, obviously, because he was just dominating in that crappy tank. So find a way to play this that fits your style, if you can. That will make your job way easier for, whatever mark of excellence that you're seeking to acquire. It's not about doing something to please somebody else, in my mind. Do what pleases you, because it could take a while. I think Brownie did his in 30 games, maybe 40. Most people, it's going to take a bunch more. Myself, I think on the BMP-1, I've done 75 to 80 games. That's my recollection. It's in that neighborhood, that's actually not bad. Especially because the BMP-1 is not my specialty in rocket tanks in the beginning, but I'll explain that in the other video of the helpful hints. But you're going to have to play a lot of games in whatever tank you want to go for this mark of excellence, or MoE, or mark. That's how people usually refer to those. So when you want to get a mark, you're going to have to do specific things like play the same tank potentially over and over and over, like you see here. There's 10 games, and I think I played about 5 or 6 more today before I knocked it off. I was hoping maybe I could get lucky and finish it off in like 10 or 12 games. I got close. It was 15 to 18 games, something like that. Certainly not a problem. But it does get repetitious. So I'm just warning you up front that you don't have to have a mark of excellence to prove anything to anyone but yourself. If you can get it, fine. If you don't get it, whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't do it for anything other than specific reasons. In this case, I did it because, number one, of course, it will look cool on YouTube channel, all right? That's for sure. Number two, I didn't think I'd ever get a mark of excellence on a rocket tank because I'm not naturally rocket gifted like Brownie and Hayden. Those guys are freaks. So there was an extra bonus there. And, well, to a degree, was I going to be able to do it? I knew I was doing very well in this tank and getting better just, the last couple of days. It's just been, you work on all this stuff, and then at some point, it's like all of the magical smoke coalesces, and it's like, oh, yes, I have got it, and I'm good. And then I went on a streak of like 30-something games yesterday. So in 2 days, basically, we're going to call it like 50 games that I went to go. And I was like literally going, okay, I'm going to push this number of my mark of excellence performance percentage. I'm going to push it as high as I can and see what happens. And I was doing pretty well and scoring, long haul points about half the time, maybe a little less. I didn't really track it, but I was getting good success in my long hauls. Like right now, I'm like 50, and I haven't been doing anything really except Cold War, just to work on, whatever stuff that needed to be worked on. So these are the main points that you're going to have to do, and it's going to depend on your skills, what you're trying to go for. I mean, if you don't have a Mark of Excellence tank, find something that you're good at. Also, hopefully you're not trying to go with something that's ultra popular, because ultra popular tanks are hard to get them, harder than normal, because you got to score. And if 2 million people are playing something, you got to do better than 65% of 2 million people, which is 1.3 million. You got to do better than a lot of dudes. So be reasonable. Go for something that you're comfortable with, number one, because if you're comfortable playing it, you'll be able to withstand the additional number of games you have to play. Play something you're good at. Play something that you're comfortable with, because you're going to have good games, you're going to have bad games, and you're going to have great games. So you've just got to know that up front. And there's no amount of boosters that will help you on a Mark of Excellence. You either get it or you don't. And one of the things that happens is that a bad game can set you back more than a really good game can bring you forward. So you want to approach this from a safer mentality. You don't want to go crazy. If you go crazy, you're going to be in trouble. Now let me give you an example here and show you like what the scoring was like in these games. So let's go back here. Kazarine, what was that? That's a very good game, 3,800. Now, every tank for Mark of Excellence is going to have a number that you have to score X points to hold even wherever your percentage is, and then move forward from there. On this tank, it was about 1,500 points. So anytime I did more than 1,500, I was making progress. So 3,800, that's very good. Here's another one. 1,342, I lost ground on this one. Okay. So a little bit, not much. I mean, I also got 400 spotting, so maybe I didn't lose ground. Maybe I just held my ground on this one, because the combination of those two is what's important. 2,900, I made ground on this one. 1129, definitely lost ground on this game. My team was like, okay, I guess. I was just not able to score, so they did great and won the game, so okay, whatever, that's good enough. This one, made a little bit, not much. Held my ground. Might have made a very small amount with 1,500 plus 500 assists. That's 2,000 plus. That's okay. 3,600, again, very good. What's like 4,000 plus? Actually, 4,100. No, 4,000 plus. Yeah, 4,061. Sorry. So 4,000, I made ground. This is how it works. 3,400 plus another 1,030. That's 4,477. Very good, made ground. This one was horrible. I lost a chunk of ground. Like, I want to say I lost like 2 percentage points, total. Somewhere in the neighborhood of, I was like 63% and dropped to like 61, something like that percent. Another very good game, made ground on this one. This is what I call a brownie quality game. This is the kind of stuff that he just rolls out. It's like, oh, I'm playing this. Oh, here's 4,300. I'm like, and then he'll do, here's 4,500 the next game. And then 4,100. He's a freak. Okay, I do this from time to time. He does it in 10 games. He'll probably do 4,000 at least 3 times out of 10. That dude is he's better than me. Let's just be honest. Okay, so that's the thing. But on this one, this was enough at the end to cash in. And I got the 1 Mark of Excellence badge here, and it tells you your current damage standing is higher than the standing of 65.3% of the players. Hooray! I got it, and I stopped. When I got the Mark of Excellence for this tank, it was like, okay, now I can go work on videos for the Mark of Excellence in general and the Mark of Excellence on this tank in particular. And I have an idea. I'm going to go and push the numbers on BMP-2 and BMP-3. Not as hard as I did on this one because this tank was just really annoying. And I thought I really needed to, prove something to myself. So if you want to prove something to yourself, that's very helpful because it gives you extra motivation. So let me show you. Let's go to the profile. Let's go look at. Since these are Cold Wars, I have these in descending order from Era 3 all the way down. It's a lot faster. So let's look at BMP-3. What is my number? My number, you can see it right there, 43%. That's gettable. It might take several days because I'm not going to kill myself on BMP-3. My BMP-3 is fully upgraded. That's another thing. Unless your name is Brownie and you're a real superstar, you better upgrade your tank. I'm just going to throw that out there. Now I'm going to go down here. BMP-2. I'm 45.8 on that. Again, gettable in several days, maybe. It's gettable, but what it's going to matter is, what kind of consistency are you going to have in your results. If I don't have good consistency, it will take longer because it'll be up and down, up and down. If I have good consistency like you saw, 2,000, 3,000 here, one bad game every 5 games or 6 games or whatever it is not horrible if you can counteract that with a really, really good one like one of those 4,300 games. So it's the average of your gameplay and the consistency that'll help determine, number one, if you can get it, and number two, if it's a reasonable amount of time. If the analysis is that, hey, dude, you got to play 100 games in this tank to get it, I'm like, oh, really? I would spread that out over a long period of time. It doesn't matter to me whether I get it or not. I'd like to get it, but if it's too hard, I'm like, whatever, dude. I can turn it off like that. I don't play this game for marks of excellence, but they're nice to get if you can get them. BMP-1. So that one I stopped, like I said, when I got 65.3. Done. See ya. And I was having good scoring. Had a bunch of good games as you saw today. In fact, those 10 games you saw, 7 out of those 10 were wins. So the first 6 games I had was, I think, 3-3. My historical average on this tank, as you can see, 53% wins. I mean, I got good at this tank. And, 53%, that's as, because it's not just you, it's also your team has to be good. Now, sometimes your team is good and you play bad or have a bad result, whichever one it is, and you get lucky. And then others, you play really well and your team is garbage and you lose. Whatever. So the win percentage is not really a true measurement. You want to be above 50%. Because there's so many other factors that come to play. You want to be over 50% if you can. But, hey, some tanks you're just better than you are in others. And that's just the way it is. So I'm thrilled with this Mark of Excellence. Now, like I said, I only have one rocket tank with Mark of Excellence. But I will give it a shot on some other tanks and see what's going on. But this is just giving you a ballpark of what I was looking at, because I have some marks of excellence on some World War II tanks. Not a lot, because again, one of the key things is you're going to have to pound it to get them. Now I'll show you. There's a funny story about mark of excellence. All right. Here we go. Let me find this dude. It's almost there. I hope. There we go. Right here. SU-14-2. Now that is a Russian artillery tier 8. So Bernie was working on his Italian sniper when it came out. This is when it happened. He was like, I want to work. He's like, I want to work on that sniper or whatever, and maybe something good will happen, and you can make a video for it. I go, okay, sounds good to me. I got my, tier 8 was the highest Russian artillery I had. That was working on going down the line. Sometime this year, I'll finish the tier 10 probably. But at this point, that was the tier 8. He goes, okay, great, we'll do that. So we did that. He was playing the tier 8 Italian sniper. I was playing tier 8 Russian artillery. Man, we got tier 10 matches more than we should have. And that was because I think it was affected because of the fact that we were winning a bunch of those games, because a tier 8 sniper doesn't do very well in general against tier 10s. But an ace tier 8 artillery man, that's another story. I was laying down the beatings. I got several MVPs in that run because of, Bernie's idea. And I was just playing with him, nothing spectacular. But I'm an artillery specialist. I can play artillery all day. All right. That's just one of those things. Some guys like, Bernie can play sniper all day if he wants to. It's just one of those things. You have different affinities for different tanks. I was playing that. We must have played probably 3 hours. And then we did some more the next day. And it was like, I looked at my tank. Oh, dude, I got a mark of excellence on this artillery. And I wasn't even trying. It was just because it's, I'm a specialist of artillery. And so we just played games, just regularly played games. I wasn't, sweating it out. Playing to win, of course. And I was just on. I mean, that's, it was really, I just do it, whenever. I don't even play that tank hardly at all. I don't play artillery literally every day because I'm working on videos and stuff like that. So I'd like to play more artillery than I do, but whatever. Just do whatever I need to do and whatever. It's like swimming. Once you learn to swim or ride a bike, you never forget. Now, I don't go swimming, but I'm a good swimmer. I don't ride a bike very often, but I'm a really good bike rider. And you never see people my age doing wheelies like I do. So I should do that just to show you guys on the video. So it's like, oh, wow, dude. You used to be good at wheelies and you still are. Now, I knew a guy when I was a kid, the guy who taught me how to ride wheelies. That guy was awesome. He was just unbelievable. That dude was nearly a circus level performer. He was that good. I was just a really good, standard bike wheelie rider. Anyway, so sometimes if you play something that's in your groove, and that's what this SU-14 Mark of Excellence represents, is my groove. I was in my groove with Bernie, and we tore it up, for tier 8s, playing a lot of tier 9s and tier 10s. In fact, a couple of tier 10 matches, that tank, SU-14, was MVP. When I say tearing it up, that's what I'm talking about, is MVP contender. I was making long hauls almost every match. I was ripping them hardcore because those guys were slow. Now, it was hard to do damage to them, but it was relatively easy for me to hit most of them because they just weren't fast guys. And, I'm an artillery specialist. If your guy is slow, you in trouble because the specialists are gonna beat you down. Okay, if you have good teams, and we had good teams that were playing solid for the most part, it was like, oh man, that's like candy to a kid. So the Mark of Excellence can be had in many different ways, and I just wanted to give you guys examples of how to do it. So pretty much that covers what you're going to have to do to get a Mark of Excellence if that's what you so desire. So I hope you guys learned something and enjoyed what you saw in this video. It would help if you could leave a like. It could help if you would tell your friends. That way they can check it out, learn something if they can, and maybe like or subscribe. So I got to make another video. There's 3 Mark of Excellence videos that I'm making today, so I have one more to make. So check out the other ones when you see this one, and I will see you guys later. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I am out of here.